I am going to be gifting myself the gift of figuring out what my gut microbiome looks like via the stool. So this amazing company, ZOE, sent me a testing kit. So let's see what's inside this huge box. So ZOE, the company, they have a at-home stool test to determine what's going on with gut microbiome. They also do blood samples as blood testing as well. So this is the blood and gut. Oh, I guess I am going to be taking some blood samples as well. So it's blood and gut health kit. And then they send me a box to send my stool and blood samples back. But before I can do that, there is a muffin that I'm supposed to make and eat that is gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegan to help support the gut microbiome for accuracy. So I will read more into this, and I'm going to film this whole journey and what the results look like. So I will keep you guys all updated, but you know me. Good morning, it's collection day. So I am going to collect my stool sample, and I felt it was important that I shared this process with you because it was a little bit confusing for me when I pulled everything out of the box. So this is the collector basket. There's two little things for tape. I'm gonna remove those right off. Set that baby right on there. Oh, isn't she pretty? Took my first sip of coffee, and guess what? It's time for action. So I am going to drop the stool sample and then use this little collection guy. I'll use this to scoop it up. I'm gonna spare you guys those details, but I'm gonna use this to scoop it up, and then of course I'll have my gloves on. This little scooper. Ooh, check it out. I will put the scoop in here, shake it up, seal it with the parafilm film, and then stick it on the box and get it off to the lab so we can get that part of this whole experience going. Stay tuned for part 2. All right, so I've done the deed, collected the sample. I shook it up, trying to get it to mix up. Not gonna lie, it's a little bit hard, so I guess that's normal. It says that it would be hard to kind of mix it all up. Wrapped the paraffin around it, and now I'm going to stick it into this little guy. For those with a weak stomach, it might be a little bit challenging for you to do this whole process, but just remember it's for your health, and that's the most important thing. So, you know, don't take deep breaths, and you'll get through it. Good morning, day 2 of the ZOE test. I am freaking starving. So for day 2, I have to eat, I have to fast. I can't have anything but water, tea, and black coffee. And then I've got to eat all 3 of these muffins at one time. They are vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, but the purpose of them is to help me understand what's going on with the way that my body is metabolizing food. So I'm gonna eat these for breakfast and then eat another round for lunch and then do the blood test. So stay tuned. I'll take you through the whole experience. I hope these are gonna be tasty. All right, guys, it's been 4 hours since I had my first 3 breakfast muffins, and in all honesty, they were a bit dry, so it took some time to get them down because it was just, they're dry. And I've had 1 cup of black coffee, I've been drinking water, and a cup of just nettle tea. So I'm not starving, I'm content for the most part, but as you can see, I haven't really done a whole lot because I'm supposed to be taking it easy. Got to fast in between, no exercise, no hard activity. So I've just been resting, taking it easy. And I'm gonna go ahead and eat these 2 muffins. I'm gonna warm them up in the microwave for about 20 seconds, see if that maybe helps make it a little bit more palatable and enjoyable of an experience. And then in 2 hours after I have eaten these, then I will do the blood work and I'll get that all set up and film that for you guys so you can join me for that. All right, guys, so it's been 2 hours since I have eaten my lunch muffins. And to be perfectly honest, between the muffins with breakfast and the muffins with lunch, I am not starving by any means. I typically don't eat muffin type of foods like baked goods for breakfast. I tend to stick to more proteins and vegetables. So I was a little bit concerned on how I was going to feel, but for the most part, I feel great. Ready to get this over with so I can devour a delicious salad. So, you know, the reality is that what's going on in our gut is definitely going to impact the way that we are metabolizing nutrients. So I love the fact that ZOE takes it a step further. Not only are they testing the stool to see what kind of microbes and microbiome is going on, but also to see how we are metabolizing the nutrients that we're eating and how that could be potentially impacting the gut microbiome. So I want to walk you through and show you how to do the at-home blood sample kit. It's pretty simple. First thing we're going to do, I've already washed my hands. We're going to use the alcohol swab to clean my fingertip to ensure that there's no contamination. I'm going to use my middle finger. This one I typically don't do a whole lot of typing with, so this will be pretty easy and not create a lot of discomfort for me as I try to do other activities throughout the day. Just a quick note, if you don't drink a lot of fluids, this can be a challenge to do a at-home kit to be able to get the blood without actually creating a lot of discomfort for your finger. So I try to stay appropriately hydrated. I've been drinking my water and my tea, and I did have 1 cup of black coffee this morning, which can be dehydrating, but I keep it to the 1. So what I'm gonna do is take the finger and kind of push the blood up so I get nice blood flow towards the tip, stimulate that blood circulation towards the tip of my finger. And then I am going to take one of these, I can't remember what they're called. It's a needle. It's a little needle for testing, for being able to draw the blood. So I'm just going to take it to the tip of my finger, push it down. All right, that is done. And now I am going to encourage the blood flow at the tip of my finger. I'm going to wipe off the very first, whoops, I should have done this prior, but we'll make it work. I'm gonna wipe off the first droplet of blood here, and I'm gonna start fresh. So I have my little, oh, look at that, nice blood flow. So I have the little collector. There is an area here for the blood to go, so I am going to go ahead and just drop the blood right onto that spot. And I'm gonna keep collecting the blood until it gets past the line, the collection line. So I am going to go ahead and put the Band-Aid on my finger because I can see that the blood is collecting towards the line that it is supposed to be. Okay, so they also sent a test requisition form, and so I'm going to complete this. It already has all of my information, my birthday, my telephone number, my address, and my name in here, and I'm just going to write down what time the sample was collected. And they're gonna be doing a lipid test as well as a glucose test and an A1C to see what's going on with triglycerides, cholesterol, as well as blood sugar regulation. So I'm super excited to get the results back. And as you can see, the blood has reached the line that it needs, so I am good there. And I am going to go ahead and just sign this. I can slide this back into the prepaid postage envelope they sent us. Will not need that little guy. And then this is really important. This is the bag that I'm going to be sticking the blood kit sample back into. It's got my name and everything on it, so sealing the bag back up, and then I shall place it in the envelope and go drop it in the mailbox to get it off to the testing lab. So stay tuned for the results. We'll see what happens. Hey guys, I finally got my scores back from ZOE, and so I just wanted to kind of go over those with you and talk about what I found surprising and really encouraging. So as I had mentioned, I was having some digestive issues and decided that it was best to do a stool test. And so ZOE gave me an opportunity to take this test, and what they shared with me in my report was quite surprising. So it was a two-part test. I've got my part 1 and my part 2 for the results. And first I want to talk about the blood sugar and fat scores. So this really actually surprised me. I do eat sugar and stuff, but not like refined processed sugars. It's usually coming from like natural sources, dark chocolate, that kind of stuff, honey. But they sent these muffins that I had to do, and then I had to record my blood, do fasting, eat the muffins, do the fasting, and take blood samples and have them sent in to be reviewed. And it came back that my blood sugar regulation was really poor. So the way that my metabolism responded to the high amounts of sugar was not favorable. So that really shocked me. That really surprised me. So there's definitely some insight there on how bacteria is contributing to the blood sugar regulation in my gut. The fat score test came back ideal. I had really excellent scores for that. So that was encouraging to know that my body is metabolizing the fat well, and that the bacteria in my gut are helping to support and play a role with that fat metabolization. So there's that part of the test. The other part of the test was going through and talking about the 15 good and the 15 bad bacteria that are most common for our human bodies to ensure optimal health. And so when it came to the good bacteria, I only had one of the 15, which was quite shocking to me that I only tested for having one of those bacteria present in my stool test. The bad bacteria, the results were much more favorable for that. I tested about half, 50% for bad bacteria that were in minimal amounts. So that was encouraging. In addition, I also did not test positive for the blastocytis parasite, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but a lot of different factors contribute to good digestive health, and blastocytis is one part of the very complex system, which helps with the way that we metabolize food, and also it contributes, if we are missing that, it contributes to abdominal fat as well. So I also thought that was interesting, that I did not have that parasite in my gut. But the bottom line is I am missing significant bacteria to help support optimal health, especially when it comes to breaking down and absorbing foods in the body, and ensuring, that mind, brain, gut connection, that gut brain connection. So anyway, they gave me some insights on gut busters and things that I can do to improve. And I was pretty surprised, because when it came to the stuff that they recommend I should be including in my diet, I'm pretty much eating all of those foods on a regular basis, if not daily, at least multiple times a week. And I typically purchase organic when it comes to the produce, especially for the Dirty Dozen. I try to minimize the amount of pesticides and things that I'm consuming that could be contributing to killing off the good bacteria. So it really got me thinking, and it's going to change the way I do the purchasing of my produce. So instead of going to the grocery store and purchasing organic products from like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, I've decided that it's in my best interest to start visiting the local farmers markets in my areas and purchasing produce directly from them, because they tend to grow in smaller quantities,
do a lot more crop rotation, and then also have the microbes that we need present in the soil versus our large organic farms where they're just growing one type of product all year long, and they're not doing those crop rotations to help enrich the nourishment of the soil. So that's one thing that I'm going to do. When it came to the gut busters, surprisingly, I don't consume any of the foods that were on that list, which are typically a lot of cured, processed type meats, white bread, those kind of things. So I definitely will continue to avoid those, and I will definitely ensure that I am incorporating more of a variety on a daily basis, and definitely supporting my local farms to ensure higher integrity with farming practices to help support my overall gut health. So I will see what happens. I think that I will stay committed to these practices, and maybe in 6 months I will do the test again. If you are interested in finding out what's going on in your gut, I highly encourage you to swipe up to get on the wait list for ZOE so that you can get moved up to the top of the list instead of being way back there with all of the other people that are as excited to have this test performed as I was.